So, last we left off, the party had been traveling into the dwarven city of Craghammer at the behest of the arcanist Allura Vysorin in search of a halfling paladin, a very revered folk hero named Lady Kima of Vord, who had gone missing following a vision quest somewhere beneath the dwarven city of Craghammer, supposedly for some great evil that was germinating there, festering and growing. After you guys traversed through the dwarven city, you began to find your way down into the mines, the mithril mines of Greyspine beneath the dwarven town. After a few fateful encounters, the return of your gnome cleric,
Hey, that's me!
Grog having his proverbial brains temporarily blown out by an intellect devour. The party then decided to make friends with a mind flayer, an illithid that had been cast out from its people, seeking vengeance and possible return to its people. Upon making this alliance, they made an attack on the Dwarven, or the Duragar war camp that is threatening to rise up and attack Craghammer from deep within the mountains themselves. The attack was successful, the general was killed, interrogated, and some interesting information was gleaned from him before his brain was sucked out of his head by Clarota, the Mind Flayer friend. However, this attack also announced to the local war camp of your presence. In the process of attempting to escape, the druid was damaged and lost her eagle form, and thus began a free fall of many party members, a haphazard attempt to use the magic carpet far over its weight limit, led most of the party to come crash landing and nearly killing everyone. Managed to escape, walled himself in thanks to Keyleth's stone wall spell, and after staying the evening in one of the deeper tunnels and barely avoiding a roving band of Duragar there, you managed to find yourself in battle with two ogres carrying some sort of strange mutated black pudding ooze contained in a glass container. Glass container being shattered, of course, by an explosive arrow created by Percy and fired by
Immediately.
Go on!
like at the very start of the battle. Led into a very rough battle with this strange mutating ooze that kept splitting and splitting and splitting until through some good teamwork, crafty use of telekinesis in the nearby lava pool, and general high damage rolls, you guys managed to survive the encounter.
Barely.
Making your way to the bottom of this tunnel, you found yourself looping back around to the large crevasse where the giant waterfall had fallen in before, where you had met Clarota, which allowed you to retrieve your bear trinket.
Yeah!
And
Trinket!
we pick up as you guys begin to step down into the lower tunnels, the ones that are partially coated with a series of magma pools and falls that are trickling out of the rock side. All right, everyone. All right, so as you guys begin to push down into this lower chasm, the temperature of the air itself grows steadily warmer and warmer with a drier heat. You find yourself, especially those of you with thick armor, you find the sweat beads begin to trickle down the side of your face and begin to pool and gather in parts of your chest plate.
Mike, if you'd like me to hold your armor, do you want to take it off for a little while? Just to sort of
No, I'll keep it on just for safety.
let it hang out a little bit now?
Do you even lift, bro?
Just saying. Might feel more comfortable with a loose-fitting sort of cloak.
Scanlan, stop being creepy.
I'm not creepy, I'm just trying, mindful.
Very
Oh, it's
considerate
fine.
of you,
It's fine,
A
Scanlan.
gentleman's offer.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll keep it on.
I'll just have to use my
A gentleman's
imagination.
offer. Yes.
On my mission.
That's what we'll call it for now. Yeah.
Onward.
All right. Pressing further down, the air itself that once had kind of a hint of that sulfurous smell is now becoming stronger and stronger as you step deeper and deeper into this cavernous tunnel. These small trickles, some of them pool and kind of gather into these small magma kind of cups, if you will. You get about 20 or 30 minutes deeper into this tunnel before the sweltering heat gets noticeably warmer, and as you crest a slight incline and decline over a small hill portion of this tunnel, you can see now a large portion of the rock has collapsed on the left side, and a gargantuan pool of magma is pulling into the tunnel, essentially covering half of the tunnel you're traversing down. It can be walked on the side of safely at about 2 or 3 at shoulder width, but you only have about a 15-foot width period, and the rest of it is just extremely bright, hot, molten rock.
Does it hurt us to get near it?
No, but it's uncomfortable,
Okay.
and something to be very aware of and to watch your step.
Great.
You feel great.
Keyleth, you don't have any way of... You say it gets hotter than this. You don't have any way of getting some water out here or anything.
Ooh, I do. And I pull out an empty bottle. Tiberius, I've seen that bottle a lot. What does it do?
I pull out 2 bottles. This one, they're both empty, of course. Well, this one is an air bottle, and this one is a water bottle.
Oh, thank you. That clears that up.
Even I feel dumb around.
Does it make a lot of water?
Oh, yes. This, if we ever need air,
I think that's the water one that you just pulled out.
I take it out. I control a small gust.
Yes, but what about water?
Oh.
Oh my.
This, if we need water, I do it and I do a small stream.
Okay, so a little bit of water just begins to pour perpetually and without seeming end. It's
like a
the
piss
size of the
stream.
bottle.
Oh, nice.
So, and if you wanted to squirt, I do a small little squirt blasts on Scanlan.
Oh, okay. Lovely.
Is that unlimited?
Yeah, well, of course it is.
Can I use my tracking to see any of those Duragard, to see if any of them have passed through the area, if there's a large group of them ahead of us? I can use my tracking in my favorite terrain to see how many within 6 miles, if there's a large group of them and stuff.
Yes, you can. You take a moment and you, about 30 to 40 feet, you kind of go through and inspect the way the terrain's been pushed and the dirt has been shoved aside, tracking footprints, scuff marks in the rock and the walls nearby, seeing if any of the flows have been interrupted recently, and you ascertain that there is actually a pretty continuous patrol through here about once every 4 to 8 hours up and down this tunnel. That can take anywhere from 5 to 10 or more Duragar. Sometimes other larger creatures. You find footprints that resemble maybe the ogres you mentioned earlier, possible troll footprints since you're not familiar with that entity. You also notice some of the walls have what looks like small localized cave-ins, almost as if something had burrowed through at one time or another. Large creatures. So there's also things that exist outside of the tunnel system.
So, as quickly as possible, we should get through these tunnels.
Probably a good idea.
Yes.
As a note, though, you said within 6 miles.
Yes.
As you continue tracking down this tunnel, and it takes you a good 3 or 4 hours to finally reach a point where the tunnel begins to widen up. You assess that maybe 3 miles up, there is a localized town, or at least a population of Duragar amassed in a central place. So
Would be stealthing?
We should probably start stealthing
I
at
was
this
about
point.
to say I'd like to move ahead of the group a bit and start sneaking along.
let's do that. Go ahead and roll stealth.
Do I have advantage
I'd
like
like
my
to
sister
stealth.
had for...
Everybody?
You do not.
No. All right.
Should we all try to stealth?
26
This
for
would be a
me.
group stealth check. This is
Yourself?
19.
15.
7.
17.
7?
20.
26.
About an hour and a half of perpetual travel as the tunnel slowly widens further and further. You eventually get to a point where the tunnel shoots open into a gargantuan cavern, nearly a mile and a half across from this visual point. It is extremely tall with hundreds of very jagged stalagmites hanging from the ceiling and rock formations that kind of rise and fall at different points of the topography. This entire tunnel is built in this strange, large, natural downward curve that disappears out of sight about a mile ahead and to the left. But this huge tunnel is lit with what looks like maybe 2 to 3 dozen various small lava falls that are pouring down the sides of this cavern, this giant cavern structure. You also see some small pockets of that red glowstone that a lot of these dwarven tunnels tend to use as a light source. The entire landscape is rough and craggy with large black obsidian spikes just jutting out of the ground at various points, whether it be seismically created or otherwise. It's a very unwelcoming atmosphere. And that sulfurous smell is extremely strong. Even though you've gotten used to it as far as you can through this travel, it's still a very pungent odor, and you find that it's going to be very difficult for you to make up any other scent in this location right now. You can probably surmise somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 to 25 of these structures, all localized in this one area that is punctuated with, you can count about 7 of these black obsidian spires that rise out at different points around, like watchtowers.
Still natural?
No, these are constructed. These are very smooth and have that kind of rigid dwarvish construction with a jagged edge to each one of the leveled lips of these towers. And then in the center of this cluster of buildings, you see standing a gargantuan ebony fortress. Serrated stonework marks the top of each wall, and more of these giant bolt throwers are mounted across the parapets. A massive magma fall descends from the rocky ceiling right above the stronghold onto the roof and is forked onto each side and then continues to flow down, buttressing each side of the stronghold almost as a defense mechanism, like they built it intentionally underneath this magma fall.
Do you recall any other details from your vision, from your dreams?
I've definitely been here in a vision. I do remember that much. All of this looks familiar. And I think we're in the right place.
Sweet.
So,
Very good.
you know,
It's not a temple. It is a fortress.
It is not a temple, it's a fortress. The
This
temple,
is-
where apparently Kavarn, as far as you know, exists, is further below in the kind of fungal forest that surrounds this ancient city ruin that has been repurposed by the Illithids that Clarota actually came from.
We know here because the general that we mind melded, Clarota read his brain.
Yeah, I was there.
I know. So I'm reiterating.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Just making sure.
You had this
So remember, Scanlan, that the general said that on the left side of the fortress is how we can get into the
How we
trap
can
door.
get into the trap door.
Right.
Exactly.
by the
Exactly.
smaller
By
of two
the-
lava
Smaller
By the smaller of two levels.
of two what?
Lava flows.
Lava flows.
so what we're looking at is
From our vantage point, can we see?
What's our angle here, gents?
Well, we need to get closer up. We need to find this trap door because it's suicide going in the front.
So we need to find it.
Yes.
Yes, it's on the left.
Well, let's go. Oh, it's on the left.
Yes, so we're heading left and
Let's
going.
do it.
Yes.
It is a very rocky and difficult terrain should you not be with your ranger. Essentially, you're just marking places where the terrain would be dangerous to watch your step and to be wary of any locations that might be unsafe for load bearing, anything like that. So,
Yeah, I saw that look. You calling me load bearing?
yes.
That's honest.
As you guys begin to curve around the left, you hear a slight distant clanking of metal and voices. Low, kind of conversational voices. Too far for you to listen at this point, but you guys immediately stop everyone, and you can just see over maybe a good 70, 80 feet in your distance, heading up the path you guys have just begun to skirt around, a small, what looks like a roving patrol of Duragar, probably the ones that go up and down the tunnel. As the rest of you are kind of holding back, the twins kind of slink between the various rock formations and strange, jagged spires that are currently peppering this entire underground landscape. You get up to a point where you're maybe 10 feet from the road, and kind of with your backs against the rock, you can begin to see the roving band slowly move around. You count roughly 12 to 15.
oh yeah.
Armed with hammers, halberds. One of the Duragar walking alongside is completely bald on top with this extremely long, sculpted black goatee beard that streams down. Thick black and red trimmed robes, carries no weapon. You pick up bits and pieces as they begin to pass by. You overhear one of them say, "Keep your eyes peeled. That thing is still out there." Another one goes, slaps him and says, "Horik said it ate a whole scouting party in seconds." Another one goes, "Listening to Horik was your first mistake. Shut up and keep walking." And they'll keep pushing, at which point the same kind of scared one before him says, I mean, if that one went crazy, look at the other one's cracked too. I don't know if I feel safe running alongside any one of that Kavarn's picks anymore at this rate. And by that point, they begin to slowly move past, and their voices begin to fade as they continue up the path you guys just traversed down, up through the lava tunnels.
Oh shit.
Good thing I was clearing our footprints.
And you feel pretty confident that you're safe to return to the rest of the party.
Okay. So we walk back.
No.
So apparently, number one, big party. We didn't want to fight them. If we don't have to. Secondly, there's some weirdo creature that's gotten loose and is very, very bad, and it's killed multiple Duragar already. So, right.
No
That might
indication
be
of
the
what
thing.
kind of a creature it was?
No, but it might be the thing we already killed. It could have been the thing with the plate that showed up in the camp. The
bullet.
The big thing.
We could use that to our advantage.
We could. We could scare them off quite easily.
Yeah.
You guys push forward, keeping that wide kind of left curve, which adds a fair amount of time to your travel as you're being careful and moving at a very, very heavy circular arc around the Duragard city. As you begin to make your way around, you're just starting to get to the point where you can see the front of the fortress, and you can see where the magma fall splits and just kind of coalesces around each side of the stronghold. Immediately catching your eye,
Yes.
Vex, one of the nearby kind of obsidian spires is a different color than the rest. The rest are like a deep black, kind of glass shiny color. This one is a dull kind of crimson.
We should go towards that one.
Because it's a different color.
The twins are gonna go have a peek.
Okay,
I'm coming with.
Do it.
Scanlan comes with. Go ahead and roll stealth check.
Oh boy. Not my strong suit.
Don't fuck it up.
No, Scanlan, what'd you do?
You dick.
Did you?
What did you do?
You can change your mind.
Wait,
I got advantage, don't
I grab Scanlan and I kiss him on the cheek and make him stay.
Way to take one for the team.
I will say, Pike, roll a perception check.
14? No.
Negative.
Yes, 14.
Unfortunately, you're not quite perceptive enough to notice Scanlan's not quite so quiet walking away. You continue up with the twins, absentmindedly humming to yourself. The twins being used to your humming, for some reason it doesn't connect. You make your way up to the spire, and about 15, 20 feet out, you notice the coloration is different because it is completely coated in what looks like dried blood of some kind. There appears to be an arm and a whole bunch more dried blood across the ground, just out of view.
Scanlan, shh.
What? What?
You're singing.
I was singing? I was singing? I didn't even know! It's a force of habit!
The state of the blood that you see around, you're guessing probably within a few days, if not a week, since this happened.
I'm picking up one of the arms to bring back to the group.
So as you walk up towards the arm to grab it, you have more of a view of what's happened. And what you see before you are definitely remnants of some battle long past. There's dried blood everywhere. There are pieces of Duragar flung about. And I say pieces, I mean you can't, the only reason you know Duragar there is because occasionally you see part of a head or part of a foot, and you recognize the ashy skin from the areas that aren't currently caked with its own gore. The remains are torn apart by no blade, there's no cuts, there's no clean wounds. They're either pulled apart by force, like arms and limbs were wrenched from the body just out of sheer power,
Like a Wookiee.
or there appears to be some sort of gnawing, some chewing, like toothy fangs, sharp teeth have partially eaten portions of these bodies.
This is the work of a beaver.
Yes, definitely very
A
large.
busy beaver.
There's a series of tracks that you haven't seen where there's very erratic footsteps that look human, human size, but they seem to be placed randomly, like 1 foot here, 1 foot here, 1 foot here.
It's that big creature that it was like one of those things that the thing put together.
And you
like,
see what looks like
yeah.
strange strikes through the sand, like something had been dragged very quickly in a very localized spot, scattered all about. A very strange pattern that you can't really grasp what type of creature would make it. The best you can tell, the last time it was here was about 2 or 3 days ago to feast on more of the remains. Like
Human footprints?
Should we go
human
over
sized.
there?
Human sized.
Or set a trap.
We could try to set a trap. No,
I
that's
don't
all right.
think we want to tangle with this.
have-
What are we trying to prove? Let's just keep
I'm
trucking.
really bad at stealthing. We should go.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to the group. I'm gonna bring the arm I
I'll
picked
take
up.
out the cask of ale and pull a little tank of the ale just because I'm bored.
Good man.
Sip, sip.
Well done. It's very
Would
tasty.
anybody else like to say? Oh, okay.
And having been underground for what probably amounts now to about 4 or 5 days, that little taste of ale on your lips is a very welcoming and very refreshing sensation.
When we get back to the group, I'm gonna toss the arm to Grog.
You instinctively reach up and catch it, and you look down and see what looks like a Duragar arm that has been very heavily mangled.
Oh, thanks for the hand.
That's about.
So we should just keep freaking being careful and keep going towards the very
Okay,
thing.
let's go.
Keep trucking on.
Pike, I have this weird feeling like you wanted to make out with me. Is that something that happened?
Well,
Am I
you
dreaming?
just, you weren't paying attention.
Really?
And that makes
I
you want to
think-
make out with him?
No, I think you were moving along to try to go stealth, and sometimes you should just stay put and see what happens.
Well said, cleric.
A small hit to Scanlan's morale, but the party marches on. Pushing forward, you manage to make your way about a quarter mile on the outskirts of this cluster of buildings. Curving far left, you're just managing to keep out of the city proper and move straight towards the very back wall of this cavern where this fortress is built against. So you're kind of circumventing the city to go straight to this fortress. Vex, you pick up a strange person standing maybe about 50, 60 feet ahead of you.
Just a person?
Person, it looks like. You take a moment, kind of keeping an eye out, and the person isn't moving.
There's a person standing right there. What? A person. He's just standing there.
Maybe it's a statue.
scarecrow? Yeah, that's what I mean.
A statue.
Want me to go check it out?
No, I
Can
don't.
you go invisible?
Yes, I can go.
Go invisible and check it out.
I polymorph and turn into a fly, and I buzz over to him.
Nice.
You approach this individual and notice what looks to be what is an illithid or a mind flayer is currently locked in some sort of a reactionary position, but is completely turned to stone.
I buzz back to the group.
Maybe you should.
I kind of fuck with Tiberius's ear a little bit, and then I turn back.
What'd you see?
What was it?
Oh, a crazy statue of a crazy illithid.
Can we look at Clarota
Yeah,
and say, do you know anything about this?
As far as I've noticed, occasionally these patrols do walk with a lizard creature that has this ability.
So the Duragard
Have basilisks.
have this as like their pets.
A trained beast, yes.
Why do you suppose they used it on one of their own?
I can only imagine maybe this transpired before the Union.
Right.
And it's left as a warning.
Do we remember how to take care of basilisks? Like, do we not look at them? Is that how they don't?
Don't look at them.
Don't look them in the eye?
This could be a nature check.
23, natural 20.
Essentially, it is a sight-based circumstance.
It's entirely visual. They have to they have to catch your gaze, and then that is how they can turn you into stone. Otherwise, as long as you don't catch their gaze, you'll be fine.
All right.
As you guys push forward, Clarota lags behind a little bit to inspect the statue and just kind of looks it over for a second.
Did you know him?
Dave.
God damn it.
His name is Dave.
Takes a moment to look over, and you can see his eyes kind of close slightly for a second.
We've met. Not the kindest of my people, but nevertheless, should all this pass, I would like to maybe release him from this stony prison.
So you know how to do that?
I know not, but it can be done. I've seen it.
Didn't I tell his son?
You did.
You
Yes,
did.
I was very,
Yes, that's
I was
correct.
very
Use
sad.
the blood of the creature.
Yeah,
Yes,
there
I
is.
remember that.
There is essentially a liquid that can be distilled from the Basilisk's blood.
Okay.
About another 20 or so minutes, you now have a much better view of the left side of Emberhold proper. And you can see the large magma fall that is pouring over the top of the fortress's second story and completely encompasses that side. It splits and divides towards the center. A larger fall towards the front of the fortress and a thinner one towards the very back. And then it pulls, and you can now have a better closer so you can see where it runs off to. It continues into a stream following the edge of the giant cavern wall that's curving down and to the left into a far deeper cavern. You can see the entire cavern almost like a giant U. It's open, and the entire thing kind of banks around it and goes deeper still. You guys have made it to the far back wall.
Does it look like it's safe to bring everybody up here, or does it seem like anything's around that can see us?
You glance up and you can see there are two Duragar perched up on the edge of the first floor, right on the parapet. You can see there's all these jagged kind of stone, almost teeth sticking out of the very top edge of the wall. And you see the patrols just walking, keeping an eye out. They have crossbows on their arms. A couple others just have javelins at the side.
Me and Pike can take out the guys on the roof.
Oh, really? There we go.
I
Wait,
don't
but
know.
he's got sneak attack.
Yeah, but
I'm thinking that
they're
Keyleth
200
should
feet up.
But we could.
bird out and drop me.
Yeah, if Keyleth can bird up, or you can go up on a flying cockroach.
I can take Pike and we can do it.
It seems dangerous and reckless.
It does seem very dangerous and reckless.
Do it.
Yeah, but what if it brings attention?
Who gives a shit? Here's my plan.
Okay.
I'll take Pike up there. We knock those fuckers off. Super easy.
Yep.
Grog runs out and brains them the second they hit the ground.
I approve of this plan.
I'll fall in the lava. You
Yeah,
just
they'll
gotta
fall in a
shove
lava pit. Just shove them off the
Maybe.
side.
I don't know where they're gonna fall.
Well, just
Okay,
do
well,
it.
in this little lava pit, we've got Brock.
I'm just.
I'm gonna just look at the guards' pattern of movement. Are they staying in position? Are they walking around? Are they talking to each other at all?
As you watch, take a moment, still from the far back position. Watch the two up there kind of come together. They chat for a second. Then a third one appears and comes, and one of them rotates out for the one that just arrived.
They were
They
switching.
both kind of sit there, keeping an eye. One of them
Switching
Are they
ships.
close to each other?
They're about 20 feet from each other, along the top of the parapet.
You said 20 feet?
There's 3, not 2.
Yeah, me and you get ready to shoot.
I'm waiting.
Scanlan,
Yeah,
how are
flank
you going up? Eagle? Carpet?
No.
Eagle.
What?
The climb of that
I
shit,
can,
I
I
said.
can get there. I can get there.
Cliffhanger.
We're good.
Beautiful.
Do it,
All
Tom
right, do
Cruise.
it.
All right. You
Mission
ready?
Impossible.
Do you know what you're gonna do up there?
Not really, but let's just wing it.
I'm gonna try to knock them both off in one blow. But
You
if
can
I
try
miss,
one.
you gotta take one.
Okay.
you got
All right.
a board.
I can
Okay.
take one if you can take one.
Okay.
Have
All
a
right.
morning star.
All right.
Grog, you ready to kill?
Yeah.
Be really quiet while you're fighting.
Yes, we're gonna go through a dimension door. I can take one person of my height or smaller.
You reach over, hold on to Pike gently, give her a little wink.
I'm going to try to appear between the two of them. Exactly between the two of them.
Okay, so you feel the sudden rush of air, and
Do it,
the
man.
surrounding atmosphere of you goes from that uncomfortable warmth to a sudden freezing cold as your vision goes black, and all you can see is Scanlan looking at you with this heightened grin as he's muttering these arcane incantations under his breath. An instant later, you guys are both standing at the top of the wall with both of the Duragar, one kind of facing away, one looking really surprised at the fact that you guys both appeared there.
I cast Thunder Wave and blast out from where I'm standing between them 15 feet in either direction.
Okay.
So they're both 10 feet and 10 feet away from me.
Okay. As you guys appear, you release Pike, you bring your arms up and slam your arms kind of in a downward motion. As you do, there's a dull flash of light and a boom, a burst sound that emanates from you. The one who sees you, who's bringing up his crossbow to fire, gets impacted and blown off the side of the wall. The one facing away gets blown up towards, slams into the side of the wall right at the edge, and then topples over the side.
Wilhelm
Both
scream.
plummeting over.
Oh!
The brief Wilhelm scream. You're standing there, you watch this happen.
That was
I didn't have to do anything, Scanlan.
Make out with me. We're alone. It's super romantic. I just killed two fuckers. Come on. It's now or never, baby.
Well, let's just wait till we're out of danger.
It's getting real romantic.
That was really
quick,
hot.
Scanlan.
It was really hot, right?
It
Come
was.
on. Just a little something,
But
something.
let's just.
So sexy.
As this is happening,
Oh shit.
both of the Durgar come plummeting off the side of the wall. Grog, raging, go ahead and make your 2 attacks. So as he gets up, it goes back for his warhammer. Before he has a chance to, you cleave off one arm and send the axe right into the center of his torso,
Holy.
silencing him in an instant. He slightly spreads at the wound with this gurgling sound, and you just have to kind of like kick him off the edge of your
Yeah, I
axe
tilt
blade.
him towards the pillar to spray the pillar with his gore. I'm like, look, I can make one too.
I run across to the other one, thorn whip him from across the lava pool. Oh wait, he's on the
in the
same
lava?
side
I
as
He's
me.
on the same
run up
side
and-
as you.
He's hurt.
We just run and kick him.
Yeah, I just run and push.
Okay. Go ahead and roll
This is
athletics.
the meanest thing I've ever done.
No, remember you killed that kid one time.
Oh, thanks for bringing that up. Jeez.
That's some dark shit. That's some dark shit.
It's a long story.
Oh my god.
So as the
2 years.
the terrible blood spray occurs across the nearby pillar on Grog's side, the other Durgar is getting up with his crossbow, trying to get it ready. Just run up and poof, and he falls back into the back and goes, and starts giving a horrible, painful scream
Oh, no,
as he's
that's
essentially like flailing in the magma melting.
Someone shoot him in the mouth.
I say shh, 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 and I do the I wind down to like push him under the lava.
Okay, so as he's screaming,
brutal.
Your wind wall shoves him further into the magma as he's screaming, cooling the magma around him as the rock cracks around him into black rock. His face still visible over the surface, going and this like horrible, almost Han and Carbonite type look at the top of the magma pool.
You just one-upped Grog.
That was awesome.
As fresh magma now begins to pool over the pool, covering his face, you step away. You hear footsteps coming towards the wall edge where both you and Pike are currently on. What are you gonna do?
Get out of here.
Let's get out.
Okay, we're gonna dimension door out.
Okay, so you grab her, back down to the bottom. You guys hear footprints along the wall. They don't seem to have seen you yet. There is a stone doorway. Does not appear to have a handle or anything. It's just a stone door. The contraption that holds this door in place definitely is on the other side. It's a series of winches and the chain pull. You find that there's one slight gap where you manage to hook one of the chains, pull out ever so slightly, and you know with a strong yank from a strong person, you could probably pull it out from the outside.
So there's a part that if I ask Grog over to pull. Grog, grab this.
I'll do it.
Yeah, me and Pike are on this.
Okay, so Grog, you reach
I'll
over, you
assist.
grab the chain, and Pike grabs onto the back of you, and both of you pull. As you pull, you hear the grinding of this chain against the stone, and you can see the actual door will begin to rise upward this way. You can see now what this door.
It's a DeLorean.
Yeah, essentially. When it opens up, it moves the magma out of the way. That's as construct is used as an exit. It's what I mentioned before. It's supposed to be an exit for the royal individuals of the stronghold. It only opens up partway, however, because the stone wall currently blocks the rest of its movement. However, you can still move through it. All right, so all of you have made your way into the doorway of.
Can Trinket fit? Trinket can fit.
Trinket can fit with you, yes.
Oh no, we can't see it.
Alrighty, so you guys make your way.
Are we crafting?
Whoa.
Tiny,
Whoa.
tiny little room. We are all very, very crammed. The storage room, it's very musty. It hasn't been seen use in quite a while. In fact, you can see a little bit of mold is growing on the side of one of the barrels in the corner.
Dank.
There is a doorway that is closed on the opposite side of this wall, and from what you can see, there is a stairway that curves upward to the second floor.
Guys, I'm sensing a lot of purple and brown construction paper here.
That's your favorite terrain, right?
It is.
With a stairway leading up and a closed doorway leading further into the stronghold. So, what is your preference?
I think we should go through the door instead of going up.
I agree.
Because any prisoners are probably going to be
I've
kept
already
at a
went
low level. Can we very stealthily try to open the Oh, check for traps.
Yes, I'm going to sniff the door a bit.
Best you can tell, the door itself is locked, but is not trapped.
Okay, with these tools out. Oh, that's an easy 30. So
30.
30.
30.
Jesus.
Which is good because it's a very, very intricate lock. There is a specific key, a single key that is designed for this lock that you gather is probably held by King Murgle himself.
Whoa.
You manage to get the right sequence, and then with a slight clicking sound, the door opens slightly on the inside, leading into a hallway. The door that you picked, if you wanted to walk through, is right there.
Okay, I'm gonna take 6 or 7 quiet steps forward, stealthily.
As he does this, I'm gonna pull out my iron stone from my pouch.
That's pretty
Okay.
And let it.
Good. All right, cool.
We're all trapped in that room together.
Yeah.
Right?
You are
I
perfect.
fart.
Grog.
As you peek through, you can get a general idea of what looks to be an empty storage room.
Yes.
A lot of materials have been moved out of it. It looks like there are remnants of stone, things that were used for construction that once were in this room that have been pulled out to build things, possibly moved as part of the war camp to start building some of the siege weapons that you saw up above.
Do I hear anything?
Listening, you hear footsteps above. You hear very, very faintly through the stonework, about 20 feet above you, some footsteps moving above. Apparently, there is some level of alert on the second floor.
Yes, Percy, I
We
wonder
start
why.
getting out of the room.
I go back to the door and just be like,
You see what resembles, there's a door to your left that's closed currently, and it splits off into 2 directions.
alright, I don't even tell anyone. I just start to slink down the steps.
You continue down the stairway, and as you slowly move around, you can see down towards the bottom a very, very faint bit of reddish glowstone light, and a hallway that splits right and left.
I go to the right.
Okay. As you look past the right, you guys are all waiting in the room?
You just storm
I get out. No, I get out.
Start banging your weapons
No,
together.
I come out.
Two
Because you're taking too long.
Anyone else?
I saunter about.
I'll head on out there.
I go where Pike
We're
goes.
just losing all attention span.
We stay in the area, but I wanted to check on my brother because I feel like he's taking a while.
All right. As you move and kind of glance over, you can see there are two Duragar stationed on each side of the split hallways.
Yes.
One is there's a closed doorway to your right.
Yes.
And to the left, there's an open doorway that leads into a room.
I'm going to turn my chin over to the left and see what I see down there.
There's a second Duragar that is currently sitting in armor, weapon to its side, just kind of occasionally glancing, and you can hear every now and then sounds like a moan or like a slight whispering gurgle, and the Duragar will lean in.
Shut up in there!
Yeah, I'm going to go kill this guy.
As I notice him going up, I'm gonna. Vax, what are you doing?
I'm killing someone. Hold, please.
Vex, as you look to the right, there's the Duragar to the left that's shouting into this room here.
Do something.
Missed entirely where I was going.
Do something.
He's right there on the side. Oh, there's
Yeah.
one over there. There's one over there. Oh, shit. I sneak back up.
Okay.
And I put a hand on my sister's shoulder and give her a little come along motion and tell everyone else.
I think don't you need some
And I
grog?
mouth Kima at everybody and then pull,
As you're
pull my
doing this,
sister
you hear
back.
footsteps across the way, echoing through the hallway, what sounds like a number of other foot patters heading through the halls towards the front of the stronghold.
I'm just pulling Vex down.
On the
Okay.
front of it. Not where we're at, right?
So Vex and Vax both disappear off to the side down a hallway.
So I pull my poison blade out and I pull the keen dagger out and throw it right at his neck.
All you need to know.
At the same time, I
Attack.
reach out and go.
Well, and then the other one, the poison one, towards the other.
Okay, and you are
And I was gonna shoot at the other one.
okay. So both arrowed at the guy on the right.
Stubo, one on each.
You both.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So 46 with the keen dagger on the guard at the door.
Okay, so
So I was really useful.
so the guy on the left, as he's leaning back, he's getting angry with whoever's in that room. As he turns back to take his post again, and just gurgles, slumps to the ground. As he's slumping, an arrow goes into his
It's like a punctuation.
Yeah.
And are you using the poison effect on him?
Yes.
15 on the other
am.
guy for me.
That is 7 plus the poison.
I go running back up since I've already shot my arrows.
An arrow into his chest just as the poison blade makes contact. You can see him kind of double over for a second. He
He's still awake?
is still dribbling a very heavy amount of deep crimson from his mouth, but is still like looks over and sees you both in the hallway and goes to reach for his warhammer and turn around towards the door behind him.
I turn to Pike and say, "What the fuck is going on?"
Everyone else roll
Everybody
stealth checks.
fucking calm down.
You guys both beat them on initiative. So I'll roll attacks.
28.
We don't need to roll damage. He has like 2 hit points left. You guys pepper him with additional arrows and daggers. Like the poor guy's like, "Ugh, I'm gonna. And just goes down in this horrible sense of overkill. His body just slumps up against the door. You guys all rush down the stairs, the clanking of the plate armor as you're going down. The rest of you like kind of wince as you notice it, but you make it down anyway. So the rest of you have made it down. There are 2 dead Duragar on the ground, one with a closed door and an open door.
Well, let's go look in the open door.
All right.
Stealthily.
As you glance over into the open door, you can see what appears to be a series of dungeon cells held underneath the stronghold.
Lady Kima.
Within these, you can see there are a number of dwarven captives that are in very, very, very poor health.
I don't care about them.
That are currently lying
to get them awake.
down,
Are any of them
unfed,
Lady Kima?
gaunt.
Because if not, they're about to die.
No, the regular dwarf.
All right, so you go through. It's fairly simple over time for you to unlock the cells if you'd like for the 2 that are in there. There is a difference between healing magic and nutrition. You make them feel physically better for the moment, but their physical form itself is failing. Like
Just a thought.
They need
Shouldn't we
food. They
clear
need
this
air.
mess
They
before
need
we let prisoners out?
to be out of here soon. They're both on the
Put him in the
on
bag,
the
I'll
edge
hold
of
it,
death. You guys hear heavy footsteps coming from the stairway. You guys just ascended from.
I go stand right next to the stairway.
In the cells. In the cells. In the cells.
I pull my sister and we flank the. I push her into flanking positions at the door.
Wait.
Okay.
Where are they coming from?
I jump in the cells and I pull a dead, decomposing corpse over top of me.
Wow.
All right.
Heal it.
I find a corner of a cell and slam
Going
pull out my gun.
savage.
Okay. A few moments pass and the footsteps slowly trail off. The door is currently locked, from what you can tell.
1 moment. It is now not locked, I think. 25.
Okay. You push the door open and you see immediately the fast-moving heft of some large blade towards your head.
Ooh, snap!
As the axe hits you and embeds itself in the wooden door, pulls back. Now what you see is a Duragar wearing like this nasty-looking black leather tunic, has a bunch of scars on its face, and it's kind of grinning as it pulls the axe out of the doorway.
Right, I spit on the ground and yank my belt off and throw it at
And
his
I
neck.
yelled, hold.
Okay. Pulls back out of the way as the snake kind of forms itself. It goes ahead and makes, as he just kind of slaps it off himself, and it kind of cascades off to the side of the room. At which point he kicks the door closed again. Now we're rolling initiative, guys.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to run into the hall. All right. Or you leap over, kind of vaulting off of trinket, land. You've moved into this hallway, and that's the extent of your movement.
I'm going to try and take a shot and blow the lock.
As the door slams back and you kind of prepare yourself to try and kick it open, you hear the familiar of one of Percy's pepperbox bullets as the actual handle of the door gets blown off, and there's a small hole in the wooden door now where its handle once was. The dwarf backs up over what you can see now. This room is completely covered in a series of really nasty hooked instruments.
That's like to say.
Hot irons. You can see large pincers. You can see various blades.
Oh, it's like a torture chamber.
It's a torture chamber.
Grog is running into Toys R Us. This is great.
As he backs away, there is someone on this kind of rack-like table, and the dwarf backs up with his axe, kind of getting ready.
I use my bonus action to say, "You are so fucked, dwarf."
We managed to move through, push the bear out of the way. Move, Trinket. Get out the way. All right, you managed to make your way.
The bear
squeeze
is
past Percy.
surprisingly smells really nice.
All right, Tiberius, what do you want to do now?
I'm going to cast Hold Person on the dwarf.
You don't have visual on the dwarf currently. The
What?
dwarf is
That's
back.
absurd!
And you don't have enough movement to get close enough,
I will
unfortunately.
poop. I encourage violence.
A wondrous use of an action.
Do it. Do it, Grog.
I'm gonna kind of do
That's the best line of the night.
Do we get anything?
You are currently in a cell with a dead body draped over you.
Oh. I morph into Minxie form. And pick it up with my mouth.
Okay. In your mouth, the body stirs. It wasn't quite dead.
Oh, what? It was supposed to. I wanted a dead one.
It makes me
Can
sad,
I
so I'm
drop that one
sorry.
and find like a dead
Well, you wanted a dead one. It is now.
Oh! Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. And I come out into the hallway.
All right. You actually shift Tiberius anyway. This is a very small space. You're a very big cat. You're kind of really pushing the space. Yeah.
I look at the dwarf.
You can't see him from your vantage point. He's actually back out of the sight.
No?
We can't see him.
Can I
You don't even know there's a
see him at
dwarf
all?
there. You just know there's some sort of commotion going on. You move around the corner and you see
Everybody
just
give
an
over
empty
your
room.
turn to Grog.
I know, let him go in the room.
Let Grog deal with his butthole.
I look at Grog and I foam at the mouth a little bit with the corpse and I
Encourage violence.
encourage violence.
I smack Grog on the ass and say, go get him.
All right. Grog, it's your turn.
Does he get advantage because we're all encouraging
Yeah.
Oh
violence?
no. You do get inspiration dice for this whole setup.
You said the room's full of shiny, pointy things on the wall, right?
Yes.
I would like to bull rush the dwarf up and against the wall and try and spear him with all the sharp shit on the wall.
Okay. You rush in, and with your attack, your first attack, you grab him, lift him, and you can see there's a series of giant meat hooks hanging from the back of the wall, and you just lift him up and shove him down onto the hook, which protrudes from the front of his chest.
my God,
Going,
you're just
Perfect. With my second attack, as he's screaming out, I reach inside, grab his lower jaw, and pull him straight down.
okay, make an attack roll.
That's so gross. I love this.
Max is using his free hand to cover his eyes. Keyleth starts
24.
Go ahead and roll damage on this.
Oh, sick.
For the 12.
For flavor, you're attacking. Yes, for flavor, roll 12. Why not? You're pulling his jaw.
Excellent.
Rolling really high.
15.
Okay. So after you throw him onto the hook, his axe clatters to the ground, and he reaches up with his hands to grab you, and it looks like he's pulling back to try and bring you in for a headbutt. This kind of angry look of burning rage in his white eyes. This fucked up Duragar with all these scars in his face. As he reaches up towards you, you take your giant hand and jam it into his maw with this horrible sound. As you put all of your muscle into it, glaring him in the face with a terrible grin, you and yank the jaw from the bottom of his head. A spatter of blood across the front of his neck, and this tongue dangling. It gives it this horrible, this gurgling scream as all the blood begins to pour up into his throat. With that, you clutching the jaw with one hand, you begin to pummel him in the face with his jaw as he's watching his head slowly cave in until eventually he's no longer moving, and you kind of throw the jaw to the ground. It's coated in blood.
Right. I think Grog, I think he did a strong.
I scream, good job, Grog! That's your best one yet!
Grog, still in a rage, you look over at the other individual. You can see now, strapped to this wooden frame is a smallish humanoid female, currently chained and being pulled on a rack. You can see a bunch of scars and wounds, blood pouring from each one of them. You take a moment and you manage to find where the wench of this machine is, where you can go ahead and release the tension, and eventually the chains go a little more slack, and the halfling woman takes a deep breath and just kind of looks about the room a second. Looks like there's a bit of haze, but in through the haze there is just this constant anger.
Oh.
And she looks up and goes, so, are you gonna let me go?
I'm pulling out my lockpicks and I'm gonna start working on her.
And I'm gonna heal her with a little bit of a song.
And you know my
yeah.
lockpick snaps, so just totally.
Tink!
Yeah.
Great.
She's not clothed. Her body is just a spray of scars and gashes and rake marks, and she's been tortured to an extent you hadn't seen in person. And to still be like tensing her muscles against the chains and looking at you with this intensity. If this is indeed Lady Kima, you now see why she's made the reputation she has.
Okay.
I pull out my flute and I sing, as long as I got my song and flute, I'm gonna give some healing to you. Love and magic in the air tonight. Gonna give you some hit points. Gonna give you some hit points. Gonna give you some hit points of our love. Okay, so I roll, so nine hit points.
Okay. So the fresher wounds seal up, the blood flow comes to a stop, and you see her muscles tense for a moment, or her tension in her muscles lax for a minute. She kind of looks to you for a second and goes, it's been a while since I've heard a song. Thank you.
I got it.
Reach over and bring it down. With a brief moment of extreme tension, the whole room watch Grog walk up with his axe and swing it down towards this halfling. Before we have a moment to stop, everyone's heart just skips a beat. The chain is bisected, at which point the halfling woman immediately jumps to her feet with almost like a key-up stand. And is now standing on top of the table. Her arms are still bound, and you can now see where the metal was weakened from the axe blow. She pulls herself free from the metal bindings.
Would you like some water?
She grabs it from you, pulls off the cork, and just starts chugging.
Lady Kima, we need to get you out of here.
Allura has sent us.
She caps it off after a moment, kind of takes a deep breath. I'd hoped she would. It was foolish of me to come down here so unprepared. I just knew there wasn't much time.
Time till what?
Look, it's a story. I have no... She kind of points to her pretty much unclothed, unarmored form and says, I need to find my implements. We need to get out of here.
Could I offer you this black-studded leather dwarven armor? It's not leather, actually.
It's magical.
Yeah.
Oh, would you care for this robe?
Sure, it works for now. And she takes it from you and starts putting it on. And you see like her wincing as she puts it on as it kind of covers some of the wounds. Her whole body is just sore, but she still pushes through it.
I'm gonna heal her a little bit more.
Okay.
I'll put my hands on her. I'm sorry, you're not fully healed. Let me help you out.
She sees your mace and goes, can I borrow that for a second? Please?
My mace?
Your mace, please.
What'd you need it for?
You can have mine.
You trust me.
I don't know. This is all I have to protect myself.
You've come this far.
Grog has something for you.
Say yes to life, Bang.
Alright, well I also have a morning star, but this is... You're going to give it back?
She, as you hand it out, she grabs it from your hand.
That was rude.
Walks to the edge of the table.
I don't like her.
Stares at the dwarf that is currently hooked onto the wall. And with an RGL, just slams it right into his face, causing his head to explode against the back of the wall. Slams it again and again and again, and it's just making like hamburger of his entire body. And the arm slaws off, and she's just going nuts. You can see her just bludgeoning over and over again with like just spray of gore on her. And there's this look of anger, frustration, and a sick sense of joy a little bit in her eyes, and how she's just tearing this dwarf apart. She takes the mace she borrowed from you.
I'm sorry I questioned.
As she begins to hand it back to you, there's a slight flash of radiant energy that emanates from her hand, and it burns all of the blood that currently encapsulates the mace off, and hands it back to you. Thank you.
That was amazing.
Like, give her one of your things, Grog.
Could I, would you like to touch my axe?
If you want to part with it, certainly.
Maybe we should get out of here.
Why don't we collect your things?
Yeah, where are they? Do you know?
I have no idea. They're either in the vault or they're in the armory.
As I see her grab the sword, I ask, would you care for some ale?
She kind of glances over her shoulder at you and says, later. We have nothing to celebrate for yet.
Absolutely, plenty of time.
She like comes to your knee.
As you move up to her, you notice she's standing at the bottom of the stairs with attention, staring up at the top of the stairway, where Clarota is looking down at her and backing away. And she goes,
yes.
Wait!
I put my mage hand in front of her. Wait, hold on. It's fine. This mind flare is with us. We saved him, or he's our ally now. He's fine. No one needs to fight. She's fine. He's fine. His name is Clarota.
Without taking her eyes off of Clarota,
This is Kiva.
she looks back
Kima?
over.
We are allies, all. Yes?
Are you to tell me that you've come down here and allied yourself with an entity that is the anathema of the mountain?
Yes. I'm right at her shoulder, so I say, we understand he's dangerous, but he's gotten us this far.
And for what purpose? You think they don't have plots lined out for weeks and months?
No, listen.
There is no trust to be had with these creatures.
He has been shit out by these creatures. They do not want him or trust him. He is an outcast, and we are working together in this moment, and he was the one. Without him, we would not have gotten here.
Have you not thought for a second that perhaps all of you are being manipulated by this creature? You can see the greatsword now flares with divine energy, and she goes, I will not stand here and let us ally ourselves with this filth. Float at the top of the stairs. You can see like his tendrils in his mouth kind of curled back with a sneer. His hands kind of crossed before Claude, and he says, listen. I am not going to walk where I am not welcome. I will not wake up with this
Giving us a
woman's blade in my back. We made a deal.
People with kids.
I walk between them and put hands out. And say, we all want the same thing. Kima, tell us, what is it that you've come here for? What is your purpose here? Speak your mind if you are true.
Kima turns back towards you, the same kind of glowing flare in her eyes. I've come here to rid this mountain and this continent
of the darkness that resides deep within the bowels of this thing's city.
Clarota, why have you come here? What is it you seek?
Clarota kind of settles into itself for a second.
I've come to destroy this creature, Kavan, and free my people.
Then the two of you, get over your fucking shit! You want the same thing here? Get over yourselves, both of you. We share a common purpose. We are going to end this fucking bullshit. Kima, we have come here for you. Pay us the respect that we have earned. We have come a long way for you. He is an unlikely ally, but he has gotten us to this point. And together, for this moment and this moment only, we can work together. We don't have to be school chums or buddies in a week from now, but right now, right here, we will work together and achieve the same thing. What say you, Kima?
She looks towards you and says,
Free his people, he says.
Oh.
what do you think will happen once his people are free? Should they let us walk out on our own?
Yes, he said so. And then there'll be buttholes when we leave.
You know so very little of these dark caverns, my dragon friend.
Yeah, it's our first time.
These entities I watched steal the very life essence of the men and women I hired and traveled with for weeks down here. I watched them capture them and devour their very minds before me and laugh and cackle as I fled into the shadows.
But they were under control of Kavan at the point. Yeah.
Oh, understand. Whether or not Kavarn controls them to give them direction, they are of that type of mindset at all points. They do not hope society will thrive. They do not want us free peoples to walk the surface. They want us for food.
Lady Kima, if I may, if you're intending us to choose between you and our ally, Clarota, and we can't get you to see eye to eye with us, then I'm afraid you leave us no choice but to choose our own friend, Clarota, over you.
What?
We're giving you one last chance. Either you are with us, or you are against us. This is a threat.
So you walk in here, save me from my binds, under the words of my dear lifelong friend, Arcanist Alora.
We mean you no ill will. It is you who are aggravating the situation.
You could be sitting in a cell by yourself doing fuck all, or ending this problem now.
I'm grateful, but I do wish very much to walk alongside you to this end. And I understand it may be very well possible that this thing has taken your minds without your knowledge.
Oh.
However, and her eyes close for a second, and she opens them again, and that kind of radiant spark of silver fades. Her normal eye color returns. We see ourselves with little choices, and I have very little allies at this point to achieve my goal. If we are to travel together, this one must walk in step the entire time. One single misstep, and I will not hesitate to carve that head from your body in the name of Bahamut.
I will help you do that if he missteps.
Oh my gosh.
Clarota, our hands still crossed, kind of takes a step down the stairs towards her.
And please, understand, if you ever intend to try and cut my life short, I will also not hesitate to bore that beautiful mind from your skull.
Once we murder this Kavan, you guys are going to laugh so hard.
She steps up the stairs towards Clarota.
Oh God. Okay.
Clarota kind of steps back, hands out in front of this little spark of arcane energy, forming in his hands. Clarota, bringing the sword up in front of her, pushes Clarota aside and continues ascending back up the stairs.
Shall we?
And walks up the stairs after her. And you all begin to ascend back into the first floor, and that's where we'll end the game.
Oh God! No! I thought we were gonna have to pick.
And we'll pick up the next game as you guys head up the stairs back into the hallway you first entered. In the center of the Emberhold, Duragar stronghold, Lady Kima released in a very tentative